From Arrow Video comes the NIGHTWATCH collection on Blu-ray, collection of 2 films, Euro horror from the early 90s that are really good. Well, actually, one is from the early 90s, one is from just a couple of years ago. So this is a film that I thought I remembered seeing, but I was actually remembering a different film, I think it was Russian, called NIGHTWATCH that came out after this. So let me go to, it's 2 discs. I'll go disc by disc and tell you what it is and what I thought and all that. I'm going to tell you up front, these are really, really good. These are films that I think not enough people know about. I'm not going to use that U word that everybody suddenly discovered online a couple of years ago. These are really good films that hopefully will find a wider audience now that Arrow has put these out in these new transfers and gets them into the physical media stream and the streaming stream and the Arrow player stream and all that. So disc 1 is NIGHTWATCH from 1994. It's presented in Danish 2.0 or Danish 5.1 audio with optional English subtitles. Directed by Ole Bornedal with Nikolaj, Coster-Waldau, Sofie Gråbøl, and Kim Bodnia, among others. Basically, the story goes a little something like this. Young 20-something guy, part of a group of friends. He's got a girlfriend. His best friend is kind of annoying. Think of a Jeremy Piven kind of character. This was remade, by the way, by the same director with Ewan McGregor in the lead role. So while you hear me talk about this, think of when I talk about the main character, think of him visually as Ewan McGregor. You'll be very close. And think about the other guy as Jeremy Piven, and you'll get the idea. Group of friends. Guy is in medical school, needs some money to get by, picks up a job working as basically an attendant, the titular night watch or night watchman in a hospital that has a morgue. At the same time, there is a serial killer who is killing women around the area. Some of those bodies are turning up in the morgue. At the same time, the best friend, the Jeremy Piven character, if you will, the best friend and our main character engage on this. They see that their youth is coming to an end, their carefree youth, their college years or what have you, their university time, their medical school is coming into an end, and the life responsibility, work, relationship, marriage, jobs are towering over them. So they decide to go into this battle of dares. This battle of let's say dares. And if the other one doesn't accept the dare or go through with the challenge, they have to get married, which they see as the worst possible thing that could happen. So aside from, this guy working in a very creepy job, some serial killer operating, getting closer and closer to the location where this guy is operating. And outside that, there's these weird dares where they become more and more morally questionable. And what starts off as kind of funny and kind of like thumbing their nose at propriety starts to verge into morally very questionable. Eventually, things happen. I'm not going to tell you the whole story. I'm going to tell you up to this point. Eventually, things happen where it is come into question whether our hero is indeed the serial killer. And he starts being a person of interest from the police. So it's a very creepy setting. It's a very creepy film overall. It is funny, legit funny at times, very well made. It made me think of a movie called Mute Witness that is a very good Hitchcockian thriller that Arrow released a while ago. It's not really like that in terms of story, but just the vibe overall made me think of it. So NIGHTWATCH, very, very good. Keeps you guessing, keeps you wondering, keeps you on the edge of your seat. I can see why it was remade for the US, but I don't remember if I saw the remake. Apparently it's got I think it's got Nick Nolte in it and McGregor and some other people, but ultimately common opinion is that it didn't quite land the same way that the original NIGHTWATCH does. It's very good. Beautiful transfer. Really good cast, really nicely shot. I cannot recommend NIGHTWATCH enough. It's one I've been saying to my friends. I'm like, have you seen this movie? Did you remember NIGHTWATCH? Have you seen NIGHTWATCH? You really should see NIGHTWATCH. So extras on this, on disc 1 for the original film, are a commentary by the director, a 28-minute vintage to the time shot on video 4x3 making of NIGHTWATCH. Not Afraid of Darkness, an interview with cinematographer Dan Lauston. That's new, 17 minutes. Death in Denmark. It's an appreciation of NIGHTWATCH and NIGHTWATCH Demons Are Forever by critic and Nordic noir specialist Barry Forshaw. You have these are all essentially the same trailer, but with like different titles and dubbing and things like that. Danish trailer, German trailer, English trailer for the film. They're all a minute and a half. And there's not much variance between the two of those, or the three of those. Disc 2 is the sequel to NIGHTWATCH, which I didn't even know existed. and I presumed was done not long after the original. It was done in 2023. This was done 2 years ago. Night Watch, Demons Are Forever. Not a great title. On-screen title just says Night Watch that I noticed. 118 minutes, same director, featuring his daughter, Fanny Leander Bornedal, the same original lead and the same original best friend. So it's some cast members come back from the original film 30 years later. One person is recast, one person is sort of written out of the film, but it is, I always say, whenever Hollywood cranks out another sequel to a movie decades later, I'm always like, if we're being honest, how many decades later sequels were worth the time and expense to make? The answer, I say, is very, very few. This is one of them. This is really good. Is it necessary? Of course not. Is it good? Yes, it is. So we have our original lead character. It is now decades later. He has a daughter that was the product of the marriage that we see, or the product of the relationship that we see in the original film. His former wife, the girl's mother, is no longer with us. He is struggling with the guilt of that. He is struggling with the trauma of what he experienced in the original film. So he is kind of more or less a shell of a man, but still trying to do his best as a father and a person. The daughter is following in her father's footsteps. She's also in medical school. She has been shielded from the facts of why her mother is dead and why her father is the way he is and what happened before she was born. But she finds out, and she seeks to investigate on her own by taking the same job he had. At this point, I'm watching the movie thinking, oh, great. This is going to be just a beat-for-beat remake of the original, but with a young female instead of a young male, and it's going to be the same stuff. It's not. It doesn't get anywhere near that. Things start happening. Serial killer starts happening again, but it's not the same thing. And it is the characters of the original trying to help the daughter avoid the pitfalls of the original. It is the daughter going her own way. A lot of it doesn't even take place at the hospital in the morgue. So it really is not the same thing all over again. It really is an examination of how trauma and bad things impact a person and how that can get passed on to the generation below. And how do we stop that? How do we thwart that? How do we get beyond really horrendous things that happen to us and those we love and lead a productive life that has enjoyment in it down the line? And, how do we foil a serial killer? So I really liked it. It was really cool. If nothing else I say matters, and if you've seen Night Watch and you're like, yeah, I saw it back in the 90s, it was good, seek out Night Watch, Demons Are Forever. It's really cool. It's really well done. And the director's daughter is really quite good in it. So, again, very, very well shot, very good performances. I was really, really happy with this. So the special features on disc 2 are not a lot of your time. I'll probably spend almost more time talking about them than you will to watch them. So, special feature, How the Night Watch Films Explore the Horrors of Adulthood. A visual essay by film critic and horror specialist Heather Wixson is 18 minutes. Life and Death on Mars, video essay by author and film critic Alexandra Heller-Nicholas, who's been on a lot of discs from Arrow and other companies and is always very good. On the intersection of public and private life in the Night Watch films, that's 22 minutes. And then there is a 2-minute trailer for this film, which is actually a Shudder Presents trailer. So this is a really good set if you've never heard of the Night Watch films. If you think Night Watch, like I did, is about some kind of weird little doll heads on little spider mechanical bodies, that's a different Night Watch. This is the Night Watch that's Danish and a thriller that's really, really good. It's one of those foreign films that you watch and you're like, wow, I wish more Americans would be okay with reading subtitles, because this is every bit as commercial as anything that's in the theater now. And what that usually means is they remake it here and it's not as good. Available via Arrow Video on Blu-ray is the Night Watch collection.